Welcome to the Advertising Forum. We're in the thick of Q4, so we're proud to present our Incremental Revenue Series, brought to you by Duration Media.
Today, we welcome our guest, Commercial Director of Influent Media, Tom Wall. Tom, welcome to the Advertising Forum.
Thank you so much for coming, guys. Yeah, it's a real pleasure. And I'm excited to have a nice chat. I guess I'll give you a bit of background just on myself. So, yes, as you said, my name's Tom, Commercial Director here at Influent Media. And we are a sort of UK-based publisher sales house. So we actually have offices in the UK, or London, Dublin, and most recently Dubai. And yeah, I guess our remit is to help about 12 to 15 publishers who we represent the media sales for. So we're trying to take these directly to market to agencies, to programmatic tech partners, really help them grow revenue. Typically, with brands such as Ticketmaster, Rightmove, we've got Actor over the past, often brands who don't rely on advertising. So it's quite a niche we find ourselves in. Rather than sort of a large network or a large sort of tech scale player, we're there to directly represent sort of one brand or another, according to however they want to work, really. So that's where we find ourselves. We do lots of things, hopefully well.
That's amazing, Tom. So to kick things off, how do you currently identify and measure the actual incremental revenue streams that you're bringing in for these great publishers?
Yes, good question. So I still think that word of mouth or just talking to people directly is really valuable. And especially, I mean, I know we have to do this, across the world is very much like video conference based now, but we tend to ask other publishers. So we'll find out, actually, let's take Rightmove as that sort of a very large or the major property portal in the UK. We will find out, similar publishers that sit in that space, who are they working with? Are they just onboarded a new tech partner that works really well for them? Are they seeing that they've suddenly started to see an increase in revenue from a certain sector of the marketing world that we're not seeing, or they've implemented a new format? So we do think that actually, be it drinks, be it conferences, just chatting to sort of the rest of our peers industry really, really helps. Otherwise, I guess we tend to try and speak to or try and integrate with partners we know who aren't going to cause too much disruption. So again,
what do you mean by that?
So we let's take Ticketmaster, for example. Our job is to help them drive extra revenue from the display assets they have on site. We have to be very, very careful of not interrupting the ticket buying process. So it's not our job to go and speak to every different tech partner out there or every different sort of publisher solution when we know that maybe 95% of those won't be appropriate, because if they disrupt that ticket purchase in any way, that actually our revenue stream might go up from an ad side, but if they've sold less tickets, bad day for Ticketmaster. So yeah, we have to just be really, really careful. So actually, if we can work with providers that sort of enhance what we're already doing without disrupting it, that's a real key thing. I guess to contextualize that, we wouldn't suddenly introduce video or a skins partner or some sort of immersive, AI-based, tech provider if we think it's just going to disrupt that on-site process. Rather, can we make our current media stack just work harder? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. So what strategies have been most effective for you?
So, this duration sequencing technology has been really useful for us, just allowing us to generate those additional sort of incremental impressions. But because I have this GAM integration, we have complete control. So we're not forcing in new ad slots. We're just saying, actually, we have a lot of times maybe throughout the year where lots of different clients, maybe from the same vertical. Let's take mortgage lenders who are trying to promote their mortgages, people moving home. During the spring in the UK, there's always a bit of a boom there. So we always see an increase in campaigns revenue that's just driving up, I guess, or driving trades to Rightmove. With Duration's technology, we're able to really just forecast and then deliver extra or more impressions. And of course, more simple impressions, the more revenue for the publisher. We haven't had to add in new formats to site. We haven't had to create new content, or we haven't had to try and onboard a new technology, which is something completely different. Actually, we're just making more of what we've got. So it's been really, really useful. And because they do have this GAM integration, we just have complete control, which is quite nice. Rather than say, you're plugged into the header bidder, we're hopeful that revenue is going to increase, but we're not sure about the ads that are going to be pulling through, or all the things that we can't control, it's helped us there.
Tom, you gave us a great example. We often talk about the importance of, user experience, but also trying to generate as much possible revenue as we can from our technology partners, from our demand partners, while maintaining that, really healthy user experience, one where, truthfully, we don't churn these clients out, right? The most important thing is these users are here, they're engaging, they're, viewing more content or interacting with your page more. So how do you specifically work with particular partnerships or technologies that promise incremental revenue? And how do you work with companies like Duration Media to make sure that you're retaining these users, they're sticky on the site, and then you're also maxing out as much revenue as you can?
Oh, good question. I always get nervous when someone promises me revenue. So that's the first hurdle I would try and overcome of actually, can I understand what the technology is doing? I think the example, and we do use it a lot, duration sequencing products. So I'll stick to that if I may. But the examples would be if we have a brief that maybe asks for a particularly high viewability score or particularly high CTR benchmark that typically maybe we might not be able to achieve on some of our publishers. Let's take the Met Office is another example of a publisher that we manage. So it's the national weather provider here in the UK. Now you can imagine that the weather is massively important to lots of people, but actually the time they spend on that app or on site could be under a minute because it's checking local weather. Is it going to rain? No, fantastic, and leave. So if we have briefs where actually we need to hit the viewability targets or CTR targets or just sort of dwell time, even attention, time spent with a brand, but the weather's really important to that client, that could be a struggle for us if we know that the Met Office is doing a fantastic job of delivering that information, but there's no need for someone to stay particularly long. Actually, with the CPC technology, we can make sure we trigger the ad when we know that someone has stayed on site for long enough, and so the ad will load, particularly in view. CTR we've seen has performed as well, if not better than our regular ads. It just helps us to, I guess, answer more briefs. And then again, I sort of spoke a little bit about Rightmove example previously, but if we have lots of mortgage providers or lots of similar clients from the same vertical trying to go after one audience, and we end up with a bit of a dearth or scarcity of just impressions that we can deliver, if we can generate new impressions, perfect. And all we're doing is generating impressions of the same formats we've done before. So to the user, there's not suddenly lots more ads on site. We're not asking them to click away or do anything they wouldn't have done previously, but actually we're just able to scale slightly better, but keep control.
I think everything that you mentioned is really important. Understanding that user experience, not changing or disrupting the existing user experience, which obviously is helping with the page views and with interaction with the site. But we also talk about the importance of brand safety a lot. That's a hot topic this year. We've had a series on brand safety at the Advertising Forum. How do you take a look at this incremental revenue opportunity and also take into consideration brand safety and user experience when dealing with publishers?
So it's probably a slightly easier one for our business because we're not like a header bidding partner. We are here to provide a sales support or a sales team for a publisher, and we try and manage our publisher completely individually. So we could still be the case that 80% plus of the revenue we're driving for a publisher is maybe managed service or like IO to IO, possibly PG. And so actually brand safety is about, are we, aiming to speak to the right brands or the right clients that fit our publisher? And of course, we're always aware that, if we are then working with open marketplace providers, what blocks have we got in place? But I would say that, our focus really is, if we're onboarding a new partner, we have to be very strict about the revenue that they deliver or where that revenue comes from. And in many cases, if that means that we would under forecast or, again, I said that I don't like it when someone promises me, new revenue. And it might be because we have a very, very set blog list and it changes per publisher as well. So we look at it very much of what does the publisher want first. And again, because the majority of the publishers we manage, I guess advertising is a second sort of tier revenue stream for them. We're very comfortable working with just a select few clients if we think that works, rather than thinking we need to maximize revenue now. Going back to the Met Office, if people stopped using it because they were annoyed about the ads, that would be terrible because it's a government-owned website,
Totally. Tom, this has been great. We really appreciate you being with us today. Thank you to Duration Media. Thank you to our viewers. And thanks again for being here on the Advertising Forum. Until the next one, thank you.
Thanks so much.